change.
No bikinis. My fat face is too big for this
Take
mask.
Gina to put on a mask.
Come on!
I don't want to spread the COVID.
She's trying not to give her computer a virus.
Who knows? It might have one already.
See, now I'm disappointed now, Steve. No more randomly turning the corner to the shipping room and seeing you sitting there working on the computer.
I know, it's going to be strange. Come on! Come on!
Where'd Sugar go?
Dumpster diving.
Come on!
Damn, girl, how many of those you got?
I've spent about $150 on masks.
That is a lot of money for masks.
I have a family of 5, and then we have our New York people that needed some. So
You say that's a lot of money now, but when the zombies come,
well, and I like to have the cute ones too.
I had a dream about zombie apocalypse last night.
Come on!
So you couldn't sleep? Is that what you're saying?
No, you said something about zombies, and I said I had a zombie apocalypse dream. It was crazy.
I know, but that's pretty much what's happening in real life.
did you get bit and not tell anyone?
No.
Isn't this pretty?
It is a nice mask. See, if the zombie apocalypse happens and I'm part of a group, I'm instituting a strict body check every time they come back to base.
Yeah, because there's always the one idiot that like got bit, but it was like, I'm going to be fine. This doesn't try to tell anyone. It's like, dude, just tell people.
Yeah, no, there is a strict body check, head to toe.
Tifo and Jake, I found something that works. For anti-fog on your glasses.
Couldn't I just use my own spit?
I always knew you were a spitter, Gina.
I heard shaving cream works too.
I haven't tried that. I just bought this. It was only like $8, and it's like it's called spit, and you just put it on and rub it in, and then buff it out, and no fog. See, no fog.
Where'd you buy it?
Amazon.
And he already got delivered. And I've been trying to go on Amazon, and everything that I see on there is like 2 months out for delivery.
No, it'll say that, but then it'll deliver within like a week or so.
Yeah, I got a package in 2 days.
Yeah.
Come on!
I mean, don't count on it just in case, but
I mean, I ordered something
All right,
that
we get the
usually
show coming
only...
here in just a second.
First, this portion of the show brought to you in part by Memorable Lights. Bring your memories to light with 3D print lithophanes. We are not better than anyone else. The only thing that makes us different is we strive for customer service and our one-on-one service. We offer so many forms of delivering your memories and light. We have night lights, cube lights, and coming soon, lampshades. We offer many forms of delivering your lights, so check it out. The website, memoralights.us. Also, this portion of the show brought to you in part by our friends over at Lawn Greetings of Toledo. Say it in the yard for all occasions. Let's say you're. Oh, this is a good one. Let's say you're done with your man after this quarantine. He goes to work for the first day, comes home, and you have I'm getting a divorce right in the front lawn there in lawn greeting. So he pulls up and sees it. How cool would that be?
Oh my God.
Are you trying to give
I'm going
Colleen
to use that
ideas?
so many times.
What'd you say, Denny?
Are you trying to give Colleen ideas?
So how do they do this? Is this like water paint that you can just water down, or
No, they're like letters. They're cut out letters in wood, and then they're stuck in your lawn. So when someone pulls up, whatever you're surprising them with, they pull up in their lawns like that, and everyone in the neighborhood knows what's going on. And good times.
You just put COVID in there, and then people just stop coming over.
This house has COVID. If you Exotic Tunes and Customs, Detroit's #1 auto detail company, has expanded to Toledo. They come to you. Use the keyword Andrew Z for special details. Let's do this thing.
And now, our feature presentation.
This is Ed McMahon. And now, here's Andrew.
I bet that's really not a McMahon.
Andrew Z. How about that Andrew Z? I said Andrew Z. In the morning, it's time to wake up. Andrew Z. In the morning, yeah.
Come on. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday night, May 11th, 2020, in the year of our Lord. Welcome to it. Up on the top, right next to me on my, I don't know, left or right, this way. No, this way. Chris Tiefel. Producer Holly on this side. Down below, underneath Chris Tiefel is Denny Crum. Right under me is Stephen Wolf, the Wolf Man. Jake Dickey under Holly. Then we got Colleen Z, Southside Gina, and Sugar Vermont.
Gina here, who apparently signed up for Mortal Kombat.
What are you wearing, Gina? What is that?
She's protecting Earthrealm.
I'm practicing for the world opening back up.
I know.
No, it's.
I gotta get used to the mask.
No, it's so she can mouth "f you" and us not know it.
No, I just say it.
Yeah, I don't think she has a problem with us.
No. Go ahead, Danny. What's going on?
Man, I'm so excited. It's been such a good weekend. And then today, I mean, first of all, I just feel like the 90s are starting to come back, and that's the best time ever. Because this Last Dance documentary has been fantastic. And then today, Iron Mike Tyson releases a video looking like he's in incredible shape and says, I'm back at the end of it.
I'll tell you what, dude. He's 53 years old, and he is hitting like oh my God, like you would not want to be hit like by Mike Tyson. But
I feared for that guy's life that was holding the mitts, because if he just slips one time, that guy's dead.
I know, he's seriously dead. Like, and I think that ages are different now. Like, I couldn't imagine a 53-year-old 20 years ago. Like, the ages are all screwed up. Like, there's this lady that was 60. I'm like, oh my God, you don't look 60. I don't know what's going on. We're not living healthier, I don't think. What are we doing? I think their bodies are different now than they were a couple decades ago. Go ahead, Jake.
Have you seen that theory on Facebook where it posts pictures of like what 50 used to look like even a few years ago, and then what like 50 looks like now? That's an interesting thing to look up on.
Oh, I
on the
want to
internet.
see that. Yeah,
and like how people were the same age, but like now everyone just seems like they look younger. They just seem to act younger.
It is crazy. Colleen, go ahead.
Dude, your mom is 70, and I'm convinced she could run laps around both of us.
I know. Yeah, she works. She gets up at 5 in the morning and doesn't stop till 8 o'clock at night and going constantly. And she's 70, and she doesn't look 70. She maybe looks 60. I don't know. It's about a 10-year decade right now that things.
You look older than your mom.
Yes.
Shut up, Gina. Go ahead, Denny.
Well, I mean, I think specifically with athletes, sports science has gotten so incredible over the past decade or so. I mean, we got Tom Brady who's about to play into his mid 40s. We got Mike Tyson about to make a comeback at 53. Frank Gore is about to going for his 16th NFL season as a running back, which is unheard of. I mean, it's happening more and more. I mean, LeBron James has been playing for 16 years now, and he's showing no signs of letting up.
No.
I mean, it's almost. I mean, look, Kobe Bryant played for 20 years. I mean, the top tier athletes that take care of their body, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You hear about Tom Brady like sleeping in a cryogenic chamber and like
we us athletes, we make sure. Why is that funny? What is so funny right now? What is
Andrew?
What is so funny? Go ahead, T. For what?
Beating your kids to the fridge does not make you an athlete.
Go ahead.
Did you not see that I put a lock on the fridge?
Go ahead, Gina.
Did you know that Betty White is going to be supposedly making a holiday film this year?
Yes, 98 years old.
Well, and that's the thing. I think staying busy keeps you young, man.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
what ages people is when they just get complacent and sit on the couch and watch TV.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I remember Andrew asking Jeff Jaffe when he was going to retire. Do you remember what Jeff said?
No, I don't remember.
Never.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me throw a theory out there then, because we're talking about how people look younger now. I think in the old days when you had pensions and retirements and you started on the couch when you were 50, that you're just deteriorating into nothing. And now with the pensions and everything gone, people are having to work till they're 70 years old or be out. People don't want to sit on the couch like they used to. Like in the old days, sitting on a rocker and watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, that was like, people loved that at the end of their life. And maybe nowadays that's not what it's about. Whether you can't do it or you just don't want to do it. We're so busy now. I don't think people want to sit on the couch as much anymore. And maybe sitting on the couch will make you older. I don't know. Sugar, go ahead.
First of all, yeah, I do want to sit on the couch. Yep. How dare you? My shows are on the couch. Listen, no. But beyond that, like, that's a good theory about how they're staying younger because they're active. I think it also helps that they took lead out of gasoline. I think it helps that they made air pollution laws, nutrition, all that good stuff. So I think like
no smoking in bars.
Right.
In restaurants.
Well,
but aren't they now? Are we just replacing it with other stuff that's bad though? I mean, are we really cleaning things up, or are things just different bad things? I don't know. Go ahead, Colleen. Oh, I mean that could be it as well. All right, so let's talk about this. Go ahead, Denny.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the Last Dance documentary. If you or if you want to move on to something else.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I love seeing every week alpha Michael Jordan because it's so rare to see it today. Because I feel like today's athletes, and don't get me wrong, I love a lot of today's athletes. I'm not trying to say like I'm not trying to be like back in my day, stand on my lawn and yell at teenagers running down the street. But I feel like today's athletes are so buddy with each other, and like it's all about sportsmanship now. Yeah. But Michael Jordan is such an alpha, and watching him just tear people down and especially his teammates to try to get the best out of them is incredible, because I feel like that's one of the most I feel like the competitive edge is really missing in a lot of sports now, because Michael Jordan wanted to win by any means. And it was fantastic to see.
Some of it, I wonder if it's a microcosm of life, because when Michael Jordan played, I mean, you were a lifer, like you cared about the team, and now it just seems like it's about a paycheck, and you don't care where you're going to play as long as you're the highest paid athlete in that sport, and you just don't have the connection that you used to have. Go ahead, Jake.
Can you imagine like if Jordan played now, like the stories at like Sports Center, and everyone would just be tearing him apart because he punched one of his teammates.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But I'm watching that and I'm like, that's awesome, because his teammate punched him back, and then they were like, I respect you for that.
Yeah,
like,
we're good.
It just would not fly in today, I don't think, at all.
No,
like,
Sugar, go ahead.
Glitter butts. Sorry,
What?
Sorry, that's my sports contribution. Carry on.
Go ahead, Holly.
Well, do you think it has a lot to do with like the cancel culture and whatnot, because people are so scared that they could lose their career over any little thing that they're overly cautious and overly nice.
I mean, even Jordan was really protective over his image too. I
Brand
mean,
or whatever,
it took him 20 years to be okay with this, this footage and stuff to come out, and the right person to come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to use this footage, and I'm not going to deteriorate your brand." So I think even then, but see, like Jordan never did anything that I think would even cancel him today. I feel like a lot of people will blow some stuff up, but just like they blew a lot of stuff up back in the day. I mean, they tried to blow. The dude went out to go to the casino one night, and they were like, "Jordan has a gambling problem." And it's like, when you're Michael Jordan and you're spending $50,000, that's like me spending $5. Like, it's not a gambling problem.
Right.
It's just you blowing off. Jordan was a competitive junkie, but I mean, punching the teammates in the face, yelling at them, making fun of them, tearing them down. So he got in their face because you said, if you can't handle it from me, you're not gonna be able to handle it from another team.
In the old days, it was a competitive thing, and they cared about the sport, and they cared about beating you, and they cared about winning. And now I think that they're really, as long as as long as they've got a good pay, they really can leave at the end of the game and be okay with losing.
That's crazy to me.
They don't go home and beat themselves up like they used to in the old days. They just don't care.
That's great, because there's nothing that I've never played where I haven't wanted to win. And if you're not going, if you don't want to win, it's not even worth playing.
Go ahead, Colleen.
So I mean,
Wait, Denny, you're competitive?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, I would have never known.
I'm the most competitive person you've ever met.
See, yeah. Tifo, go ahead.
I was curious. I haven't watched it, but I've been keep seeing a bunch of stuff all around social media. Something about Jordan and high fives. What's the deal with that?
Well, Jordan would he wouldn't use any little thing for motivation. Any little thing. They told a story last night where there was a rookie for I forgot what team, and they went into Chicago. It was for the Washington Bullets, and they went into Chicago, and the rookie put up 37 points in the whole game, and then so Jordan was telling everyone that the kid went up to him and said, "Hey, Jordan, nice game." Mm-hmm. They played the Bulls the next night. Jordan used this as motivation and scored 37 in the first half of that game.
And he said he was going to do that.
Yeah,
he was like, "I'm going to score as many as he had last night in the first half of this game," and he did.
He Babe Ruthed himself.
Yeah. And then to get this is the kicker. If you find out like 10 years later, that never happened. Jordan just made it up in his head that this kid disrespected him, so he had it as motivation. Because I mean, when you're Michael Jordan, you're that good. You need something to get yourself up. Sometimes.
Right.
And so he made up this scenario in his head that this kid disrespected him, and he went out and just had this in his head the whole time and just embarrassed this kid over and over and over again. This poor guy.
And then some reporter asked Jordan about it like 10 years later, and he just goes, "Oh no, that didn't actually happen."
Yeah, he was like, "No."
Go ahead, Sugar.
Glitter butts.
Okay.
But no, for real. You were talking about this show, which I've never been even a little interested in. But like the punching and the yelling and the underhanded motivation, I will watch now. That sounds just like the Real Housewives, and I love that. I love bullying. It's fun and hilarious.
And you don't have to be a sports fan to enjoy it. Like it's seriously.
I was going to say, for storytelling purposes, I hear it's just a really good story to follow, even if you're not. I haven't watched it yet either, and I do want to watch it. Okay, let's move on to. Wanted to talk about. Gino kind of brought up at the beginning of the show. We're kind of opening up this week. How's everyone feeling about this? As I told you guys about 3 weeks ago, once May 1st hit, it was going to be hard to keep people in. And now there's just a tsunami of people that just want to open up. There's really nothing else you can do. And I said, I even gave up last night. I'm like, you know what? Open this bitch up and let's hope for the best. Let's just see what happens. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. I mean, we are in no way ready medically to open. No way medically, but it just doesn't matter anymore. Nobody cares. The right, the open up people, all these people are just.
The polls say different.
The polls do say different, but I think I just feel the swing. I just feel the swing of everyone's just tired of being at home.
But how do you feel? Everyone's tired of being at home. Yeah, but how do you feel the swing when all the available data says completely the opposite? And you only have a few hundred malcontents per state doing these protests.
Squeaky wheels getting the oil.
I will give you this, Tiefel, that I think it is the vocal minority. There's no doubt about it. But I think that they do such a good job of making themselves. They're paper tigers. They do, they make themselves seem like there's more of them because they have such a huge echo chamber, which starts at the top with the guy with 100 million views, and then Sean Hannity, and then everyone picks up the cues from there, and it's just a huge wave of people. And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just sucked into the hype that maybe it's not a majority, but it seems like there's a lot of people that are like, you just got to open up. Go ahead, Sugar.
I kind of disagree in a way, just the motivations, because I completely agree that every single time they've pulled this, the vast majority of Americans are not comfortable reopening. And to me, it's not like a left or right thing. I completely see it as corporate America pushing the politicians, owning the politicians, and for their profits saying open up, and the government being like, okay. It's a complete mess. And I think we won the war against coronavirus the same way we won the war in Vietnam. It got too expensive, so we pretended it was over.
We cut and run. We make the best face of it. We look like we won, and then we go from there. I agree with you, Sugar. I will say this, though. I agree with 100% what you said, except that on the other side, there are a lot of people. There's still 20 million people, Americans, that haven't even gotten their stimulus check. There's no talk of another stimulus check. And so as I agree that it's corporate America pushing the politicians who they own, but it's also there's this other sector of people that are saying, I got to get to work. I can't sit at home anymore and watch my family drown and my savings go and my kids are hungry, and we just got to get out there and work, and I'm ready to take the chance. Go ahead, Colleen.
So speaking of the stimulus check, I have to tell everybody. So Donald Trump couldn't not let it go without signing something. Today,
we talked about this.
Today in the mail, we got a letter saying, hey, guess what? You guys got a stimulus. Yeah,
because of me.
We didn't notice. And then it's his signature at the bottom of the letter because he didn't get to sign the electronic check.
We got that.
That dude. Go ahead, Gina.
So I know what the polls are saying, Tiefel. I've seen them too. And if I thought the same thing, except for there's literally hundreds of people in just my Facebook newsfeed that are making hair appointments and barber appointments.
Yes.
They're not scared. That 80% thing that you keep seeing, that we keep seeing in the polls, that are too scared to go out and aren't going to eat at restaurants, are going to get their hair done. So that's a bunch of crap. And also, I forgot.
Gina, real quick, Gina. Haven't you been feeling the tide turn over the last few days, over the last week, like almost like you were saying? I really have on my Facebook page from most people saying, hey, this is crazy. To I need to get my hair done. I need to do this. Blah blah blah. I really have seen a tide.
And to the point of what you were saying, with instead of what a lot of people are like, oh well, we're going back to work. We have to go back to work. We have to work. Here's the thing: is that there's a very broken unemployment system set up right now. Very, very broken.
Yes.
And they supposedly fixed it with our tax money. We have yet to see the results of them fixing it. So instead of them fixing the underlying problem of not enough vacation days, too low minimum wage, unemployment, instead of us fixing the foundation of all these problems, these guys that are going back to work are the sacrificial lambs.
I agree.
They're not going back to work because they need money. People need to understand that right now. The not just Ohio, the entire U.S. is not going back to work because the working class needs money. They're going back to work because the government needs tax money. They're going back to work because they need our money, not the other way around.
Denny, go ahead.
I see Holly's hand up, so I hope I'm not stealing her thunder here.
Holly.
Jeep is starting to go back first shift next week, and there's a lot of people that are concerned about having childcare. I think Holly brought it up before the show, and it was one of those things where there's I'll let her tell the number, because it was a lot of people that have children and are going to be forced to go back to work, and who's going to watch the kids.
Go ahead, Holly.
They said that 92% of the economy will be open by the end of this week. And they have no concrete plans on opening up daycares anytime soon. So when these people have to go to work, they're going to be forced to send their kids to grandma and grandpa or the neighbor. and they're going to be doing the things that they don't want to be done in daycares.
We're living in a really bizarro world right now, and I'm not going to make it political, but I am going to say that, there's plenty of open source reporting. It's not a secret that the red warning light was flashing November, maybe December for sure, January for sure. There was 60 days that we should have been scrambling to. It doesn't matter what China did before that. We were watching it happen in real time across the world. For us to think that it wasn't going to come here and discount it was just, it's really, we're living in bizarro world. Like there's no, any other president would have been hung for the warning signs that were missed and ignored. So, there's 60 days there that we should have been procuring PPEs. We should have been getting things ready. We should testing. Even to this day, no testing. And then when all this is going on, we're testing people. Instead of the whole country going on lockdown, you can now isolate the clusters because you've got the testing. And then now you can start sending them back slowly because now you have the testing and you have the antibody testing. You know who's already gotten it. So now they can start being let back. It's just the incompetence is just forcing so many people to do so many crazy things that would not be done in a normal presidency that are having to be done now. And people are like, you're missing the reason. People are just making excuses for what's going on and missing what has happened to lead us to the point that we're at, where we have to send people out that are sacrificial lambs to get the country started back up because we mishandled this so poorly. Go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was at work yesterday for a little bit helping they take out food to, the curbside and everything. And I definitely saw a mixture of people that are really excited to just get it going and people that are absolutely terrified, where they're completely gloved up, masked up, like would only crack their windows so much and make me put their food in the trunk. But like the people that were excited about it, they just seem like they don't care. They're just ready to have something to do. And they're ready. They don't care. And one woman was like, so are you nervous to come back to work full time? And I was like, yeah, but at this point I'm either going to get it and get over it, or I'm going to get it and die. I don't really have much other options there.
Jesus. Sugar, go ahead.
I think that one of the real motivations for this huge push to open everything back up, definitely the economy and all of that stuff, but I think that middle-class workers have taken a pause and considered how hard everyone's been working for how little. And we talk about these grocery workers and everybody else, they deserve hero pay and all of that stuff. And then you think about it and you think, well, maybe they should have been making that the whole time. So I think that part of it is because there's starting to be a movement saying, well, grocery workers should make so much more and essential people should make so much more. And the truth is they all should, because wages have been so low for so long.
Right. Tifa, go ahead.
I was going to say the antibody test, it's a good idea and everything, but the problem is they're actually charging you for it.
Unless you can get a doctor can write a script for it. Quest Labs out by Walmart on Central, it's $119 to get it done if your doctor doesn't write the script for it.
And when you've been sequestered for 2 months, who has $119 to spend on a test? This is just crazy. Danny, go ahead.
To what you were saying, as far as what they would have done to any other president. You still see people, and even on some of your Facebook posts, Andrew, try to talk about Barack Obama's response to the H1N1. First of all, within the first month of the first case of H1N1, we had over 1 million people tested. It took us over 2 months to get that for COVID-19. Second of all, through the whole time that H1N1 was in the country, we lost 12,000 people. We lost 12,000 people last week. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Barack Obama handled H1N1 way better than Donald Trump, and you're still trying to drag him through the mud about it.
Gina, go ahead.
Yeah, but he wore that tan suit.
Yeah, and he saluted with a coffee cup in his hand.
The
real monster.
A friend of mine had asked me back in January. They said, how worried should I be about this? Because I don't panic usually about things. So she had asked me, how worried do you think I should be? And I said, it's not, I mean, it shouldn't be that big of a deal because, I mean, look at Ebola. Ebola was supposed to be this huge deal and it was handled and, you know, the government really stepped in. They made a big difference. It'll be fine. It's not going to be a big deal. Don't freak out. Thing. And then when nothing was being done, in my mind, I'm like, okay, they're doing things behind the scenes that I don't see. So I'm not going to freak out yet. I'm not going to panic yet. And then finally, when we did the ban from one country and, you know, the travel ban from China, I realized the incompetency that was happening. And I don't mean to get political. And if somebody doesn't like what I say, I'm sorry, but I'm really sorry about that. But it's true. It's just the truth. If you want to compare infectious diseases, compare the Obama administration's reaction to Ebola compared to this, because that's more accurate. That's what should have been done.
Go ahead, Holly.
Well, how far behind were we of Japan and China from closing? It was a number of weeks, right?
To put it in perspective, we had the same. America and South Korea both had their first confirmed case on the same day, and South Korea had over 1 million people tested within the first month.
Well, my thing is, we were so slow. We were so slow to get behind them and going into the, you know, stay-at-home orders and whatnot. They're just now opening Disney there
in Shanghai,
and we're also going to do it here at the same time.
Yeah, go ahead, Sugar. Real quick, let's wrap this up. Go ahead, Sugar.
I'm over it.
All right.
There, I wrapped it up.
Thank you. All right, this portion of the show brought to you in part by Lufka, all natural skincare and household cleaners, reusable household products, natural toothpaste, body scrubs, soaps, lotions, essential oils, and so much more. Lufka at the Country Charm Shops in Perrysburg. Glick Electrical Services. Glick Electrical provides services to both commercial and residential clients. Our services range from installing simple light fixtures to installing generators at factories. Do it all to improve you. Get the service you need. Call today. New Power Property Services, cleaning and sanitation, whether you have a house, whether you have an apartment, whether you have rental properties that you own, or whether you have a business or a restaurant. New Power Property Services can take care of your place. So there you go. All right. I want to talk about what happened online today. Over the weekend, the Toledo Pride had to cancel their event. And their event, of course, is the parade and the festivities and all that stuff. So then there was a post that came up by a lady, and her name is Christy Killie, Killie. Let me see, I can't tell. Kille, maybe. Christy Kyle. Here's what she posted.
Putting her on blast there, huh?
Here's what she posted. She said,
"Well, she's a public figure, so she can be put on blast."
Yeah, she said, "Well, that's about Pride being canceled." Well, that's
she's a public figure.
She's an elected official. Yeah. We should start there.
So, like, what's
her thing?
I've never heard what her actual job is. Like, the way that she's a public
let's see what she said, and then I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Well, that's some good news. For once, COVID-19 has caused something good to happen. The 2020 Toledo Gay Pride, and Gay Pride is in quotes, has been canceled. This bitch. All right, so then she.
I love the way you read that in your like total Karen voice too.
Your Karen voice. Now she is actually she's a gosh darn it, she's a committee woman for the GOP part for the Toledo Lucas County GOP party.
Oh,
that's not elected.
Oh my God.
What's that?
She's elected for something.
Well, she's elected by the GOP. Yeah, I think it's an elected post.
Asshole of the year.
What they think.
But she is she is a public official.
She'll fit right in with Trump's cabinet. She's Stephen Miller. Like she.
I'm trying to get exactly what her, and I should have had this more prepared. Okay, here we go. She is Lucas County GOP Central Committee woman in 23H. So there you go. So that's the post that came up, and it got so bad she had to delete the post. And then she changed her name from her full name, Christy Killie, Kille, or whatever it is. She just went to Christy K. So she changed the name on her Facebook page and pulled down that post.
We can still find you
After she was being put on blast for what happened. Go ahead, Sugar.
on Facebook, not in real life.
Right.
I agree. Like, her post was completely stupid, disgusting, but I just don't care. I'm like, people say stupid stuff all the time. I actually chuckled when I was like, ha, 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 ha. I just like, I'm not offended by it. She's not hurting me. I think that you only get offended or hurt by these things if you let it. I'm not like, I don't care. Somebody stupid said something stupid. Whatever.
But I think you were a little more tolerant to that kind of stuff. But there are people out there that it does offend, or there are people out there that does make feel bad. And there should be people to stand up. If you don't agree with what she's saying, then you should stand up and you should voice your opinion. Go ahead, Tifel.
I was just going to say earlier, I trolled her Facebook page. And, she's definitely batshit insane.
Well, she said a lot of other things
Yeah.
too in other tweets. I'm trying to look them up right now, but she's very extremely hateful.
Go ahead, Colleen.
Most conservatives are.
I don't know that that's fair.
Well, extreme conservatives are.
Extreme. Well,
Yeah, most
Yeah,
of
she's
the
a Tea
extreme.
Partier.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I sat in that same position for the South End. I don't even know what number I was, but I sat in that same position on the GOP committee, and I don't share those views.
Yeah. Go ahead, Colleen. Go ahead, Ollie.
My thing is, I hate seeing the hate going back and forth in the comments.
I was uncomfortable. That's a great point, Holly, because I was uncomfortable with basically taking the same road that she was taking. Everyone was like,
Yes.
oh, you look like a mayonnaise jar. Your teeth are jacked up, blah, blah. I'm like, you know.
Well, and like, this is a good explanation and a good example of why we have pride. Because we still get berated whenever we say or do something. So it's these people that are coming back and, oh, thank God this isn't happening. Like, oh, you're the same person who would say, oh, when straight pride got canceled.
Right.
I seen one today. It was somebody said something about straight pride being 4th of July. And the best reply to that was, that's American pride.
Right.
You don't have to be straight to only like the red, white, and blue stuff.
Right. Go ahead, Sugar.
Well, I want to reiterate that I think this bitch is stupid and I think her comment is stupid.
Right.
So, like, I agree with all of that. But to what we've kind of been nudging around, I think that cancel culture is just so toxic. And yeah, this stupid bitch said a stupid thing, but how far do we have to scroll to see some other stupid bitch who said some other stupid thing? Like, I mean, I don't think that what she said warrants this huge response. Don't let it hurt your feelings. Move on. And if it did hurt your feelings, still move on.
Go ahead.
It's words. It's words, and they weren't. It wasn't even hateful. She wasn't like fuck gay people, fuck lesbians. She's just like, ha ha, got canceled. Like, whatever.
Maybe she just really hates parades.
I do hate parades. I literally do hate parades.
Denny, go ahead.
Sugar, we obviously appreciate yours and Holly's perspective, because it's easy for me as a straight white guy.
Yeah, because you guys are one of them.
Well, I mean,
one of them.
But it's one of the things that my perspective, that tweet wasn't geared towards me at all. Because I'm in a place of privilege, and the fact that was geared towards you guys, and you guys are being so loving and tolerant, that right there should show. I mean,
Sugar did call her a bitch.
Well, I mean, but
multiple times,
multiple times.
But Sugar also, kind of soften the blow a little bit, and the fact that we have
soften the blow.
The fact that we have wonderful people like Sugar and Holly who are a part of such a. I mean, the gay community as a whole is just a fantastic community. I've been to Pride. If you haven't been to Pride, even as a straight man, you should go. It's a great time, and I think that is a perfect representation of this community, and that is how we beat that kind of hate and toxic.
Denny, stop Stop sucking up. You're a straight white male. You won.
He just wants to see two lesbians make out. I know how he is.
Oh my God. Well, thank you, Daddy. Thank you.
You're at the top. You don't have to suck up.
Yeah, Holly, go ahead.
Well, and it's to the point that I was saying earlier. She's a public figure. And when she posts like things like this, she's perpetuating the hate. She's telling people it's okay to make these stupid comments. It's okay to make people feel inadequate because of who and what they are. And that's not okay.
Well, so, and then our crack research staff wants to go back to 2017, and we found another interesting post from her, and it said, "Oh, wonderful." And then in parentheses, it says sarcasm included. We just elected a new Toledo City Councilman, Nick Comives, who, in quote, is executive director of Equality Toledo, a group dedicated to equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, end quote. I can only imagine what some current Toledo City Council members think about Equality Toledo. I'm like, whoa, all right.
She's such a sassy bitch. What's her name? I'm gonna friend her. She sounds real sassy.
Christy K or Kyle or whatever. So I decided that we should probably have our good friend Nick Comives on the show to answer this whole thing. And Nick is with us right now, Toledo City Councilman Nick Comives. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing good. So this whole controversy with this woman who was part of the GOP, she's on the GOP board or whatever the hell she is. She sends that first Facebook message out about Pride being canceled, and she was happy for it. And then we go back and find this gem from 2017. First of all, I want to get your thoughts overall, and then were you aware of the message from 2017?
All right, so my thoughts overall, I appreciate everybody's, I just joined in, so I appreciate everybody's comments and talking about how I agree. I feel like it fuels hate. It's unnecessary. That's, people are literally dying right now, right? And there are terrible things that are happening, and you're going to find light in, shutting out people's opportunity to celebrate who they are and express themselves. So whatever, I can't imagine what her life is like.
It's miserable.
And I'm grateful to not have to experience her life. Yeah. But yes, I was aware of her 2017 post. Those types of things oftentimes bring me a little bit of pride in what I'm doing.
Right. How ironic. How ironic of a word.
Pride, catchphrase.
No, I love it, and actually it's not my first dealing with her, so I'm really glad. So my boyfriend Andy, I just said, run over and grab that picture really fast. So this photo here is, if you can see it, I don't know.
Put it closer.
Put it closer.
Okay.
Does it look scary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a Renaissance or some, I'm not an art historian, but it's a painting of Saturn eating one of his children. So
yes.
I did a resolution about a year ago in support of kind of rolling back some of the really harsh regulations that they've been putting on abortion clinics. Mm-hmm. And so she sent me that and said I was as demonic as this demon.
Wow. He's got a couple screws loose for sure.
Jeez,
I
said that to you?
Not to continue saying pride or proud, but I proudly, have this framed in my room still. So,
I love it. That's where you take the power out of what somebody does when you do something like that and just laugh at it and make them look for the ridiculous person they are. Go ahead, Colleen.
So she literally sent that to you in the mail.
Yeah, I got it at my house. Yeah. I get all kinds of crazy stuff from people.
So now she's harassing you.
Hate mail? What the hell?
Okay.
That's hate mail.
Okay, so Nick, so you were aware of this. Obviously, I'm guessing that the GOP was aware of this. They took no steps, so I'm guessing they kind of condone what she's doing. They don't care.
Look, the reality is this. In the GOP's party platform, it specifically outlines what a family is, and it does not include families that look like me. So right. I'm not at all surprised that Republicans are going to support somebody who would say these types of things. That's not to say that all Republicans have the same view on LGBT people. I get it. Not all, whatever.
Right.
But, it's literally a part of their platform. So it's not shocking to me when somebody does something. Look, we have Republican state lawmakers right now that are introducing articles of impeachment against our Republican governor because they don't think that the protections that he's putting in place with the stay-at-home order or that we should be wearing masks are legal in their rights, and it's absurd to me to think. So it's not at all shocking that if they're going to eat their own, and they're going to try and call me out for what I'm doing, So it's not. It is what it is.
Nick, I want to talk more about the impeachment and the open up movement in a second. Let me get to Gina first. Gina, I want to say something to you. Go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, I probably forgot.
Okay, Denny, go
What
ahead.
was I gonna say?
Denny, go ahead.
Forget it.
Well, first, I mean, I love your, the point was, not that Nick pointed out is not all, and I know, Colleen's like this. Not all Republicans are like this. Not all Republicans, share this view. Not every member of the GOP, not every conservative shares this view. And the thing is, Republicans and conservatives need to start pointing that out. Once you start pushing those people out of your party, the GOP is going to have a lot more respect. And that's why I respect the common sense Republicans, the John McCain's.
But there is something to be said though for not speaking out, complacency.
Yes.
When you don't speak out against it, when you're a Republican, there is some sort of acceptance of that when you
especially
don't say,
from a place of privilege. Especially from a place of privilege.
Jake, go ahead.
You need to be speaking out.
Well, this is a little off topic, but it's always good to see another Genoa comment on the show with me and Gina. We were talking before the show, and my sister's watching, so I gotta call her out on this. I think did you date my sister at one point in time? And
Yes.
He got confused with the last name.
That's a yes. That's a yes.
What was your sister's?
Well, my question was it her that finally you were like, I'm done with women?
Wait, so
I'm gonna tell this story real fast. Do you remember Heather Hayes? I don't know if you do. She went to Genoa too. She was my last girlfriend. She lived with her. She lived. Lucky her, right? She lived with her aunt and uncle. And I went over to her house on New Year's one, whatever it was, like the sophomore year or something. And her aunt and uncle tried to put us in a closet, and I was like, I'm already in here. But I went to work at Cedar Point after high school, and Heather Hayes worked there, and we were really drunk, underage drinking. Don't tell anybody. But we were, we're there, and I looked at her and I jokingly said, Heather, it's all your fault. And she cried. I felt so bad. Oh, it was a terrible thing to do. So I don't think it was your sister.
Oh, okay, good. Just checking.
Traumatized that young woman.
But you did date his sister, Nick?
Maybe.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We got 3 out of 10 people here are Genoa comments. That's funny. Go ahead, Tifel.
Oh, I was just going to ask because I don't know whether or not you represent a specific district or if you're an at-large member.
Yeah, I'm an at-large.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I knew what area had elected you, so I knew where to avoid to not be treated like a piece of meat just for walking down the street.
My God.
So please, go ahead, Colleen.
And this goes back a really, really long time, but Mike Craig's an a-hole.
Oh, there you go. All right, go ahead, Gina.
No, I actually remember now. But to Denny's point about the GOP, or actually I think it was Nick's point about the GOP platform. If you read it, which I did, it is one of the most anti-gay I guess association with politics I've ever read. And so here's my problem with Republicans and why I know we don't want to say all Republicans, and I try really hard to defend my conservative friends that don't feel that way. But if you can't stand up and say, no, I read that platform, no, I'm not voting for you guys, then I can't take you seriously when you say, well, I don't feel that way because you didn't stand up and you are not standing up. So I can't really get with that, like, oh, not all Republicans. I don't want to say that, but they are supporting that platform.
Well, yeah, but I disagree because I don't support the Democratic platform. I mean, I consider myself an independent-leaning Democratic, but I guarantee there's things in the platform that I don't agree with. But you have to align yourself. If you're going to align yourself with a party and not be an independent, you got to do the one that's closest to yours. I mean, it may not be 100%, but go ahead, Colleen, quick.
That's why I say that I am a conservative liberal or a liberal conservative.
There you go. Sugar, go ahead.
Well, in defense of the Republican platform, sometimes I really don't like gay people either.
All right, thank
But you
Sugar.
can say that.
Thank you, Sugar. Okay, Nick, here's what else I want to talk about. You kind of brought it up a little bit, and it's the open movement. We were talking about it a little bit in the top of the show before you came on, but there's two theories here. One of them is that 80% of the people still want to stay closed, and we're being pushed by the fringe. There's another one that says, as this continues to move on, more and more people are saying, let's just open and get it over with, because, and we can all agree the incompetence of the administration has not set us up to open properly. So it's just, we're going at it. What are your thoughts on the open movement? I mean, should we still be staying home? Are you cool with us opening up this week? What are your thoughts?
I am not cool with us opening up.
Yeah.
I think there's no evidence that we're prepared for it whatsoever. I think that a slow open, it'll be interesting to see the states that just went boom, we're open. You look at Texas, they had some restrictions on what they were doing around movie theaters and other places, malls, things like that. But I think that it'll be interesting to see how quickly the virus spreads in those locations.
Right.
But it's just, I'm getting a lot of what we refer to as form emails. So this is like, if you fill out some online something, give them your information, they'll send an email to your elected officials on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been getting a whole bunch recently. They're riddled with all kinds of stuff. So there's anti-vaccine, language in there. There's all these, my rights are being infringed upon. How dare you make me wear a mask? These types of things. And I think that people probably don't read them when they sign on to sending those to someone like me.
Mm-hmm.
And B, probably the party platform wouldn't agree with every step of it. But I definitely think that there's fringe that is guiding this conversation right now. I think it is really, really irresponsible of leadership when we know the internet does this amazing thing. It makes every single person an expert, no matter what. Even if you've not had any education on the subject, even if you might know somebody who might. So my boyfriend is going to school to be a doctor. That doesn't make me a doctor.
Right.
So, but it's interesting because the internet makes all of us think that we're all reputable experts.
But here's the other thing that drives me crazy, Nick, is just because you have a white coat and have an accent, that doesn't even make you an expert. And the other thing, too, is if I need to have brain surgery, I'm not going to go to my podiatrist. So even though you are a doctor, it doesn't make you a doctor in infectious diseases, you morons.
Well,
My fiance has a nurse's outfit, but she's not a nurse.
Sure.
Are you guys?
I do too. I have one.
Are you guys telling me 5G murder hornets aren't a thing?
So that's also in that form email that I'm talking about. It's that, and it also talks about Bill Gates saying that he wants to implant chips in everybody.
Oh my God!
I can't, dude. I can't. Does this just?
I mean, if it gets free Wi-Fi, I'll take the chip.
There's a point. Comes a point where you think you're losing the battle in the world, and I try to tell people that I think it's just the loud minority. Hopefully, that the 80% of us are still insane, and there's 10% on the left that are insane, and there's 10% on the right are insane. And I try to stay, even though they are better at the internet because they're insane and they care that much. The rest of us are living our lives, so we don't invest that much time into it. So I just hope
the issue
true.
here is that there's the majority of us are pretty reasonable humans, right? Like we can look at this, we can understand.
I object. I don't think it's the majority are reasonable. There's a lot of crazy going on.
I know, but
Amen.
There's a lot of crazy on both sides.
Go ahead, Nick.
But the majority is mostly quiet.
Yes.
And they're not going to say anything. They're just going to go about their lives. They're going to, listen to the stay-at-home order. They're going to, and then if they're against it being lifted, they're not going to really say anything. You're only hearing from fringe folks, right? The guy who owns Vito's Pizza was out in Perrysburg this past weekend. So am I saying don't eat Vito's? Yes.
Whoa.
Look, they
gave me 52 free pizzas a few years ago.
As a person of size, I feel very attacked right now.
Very attacked. All right.
They have the best cheese bread. I'll give them that. But my point is that we shouldn't be the reality is this is something that impacts too many other people, right? It's like secondhand smoke was its own thing. You could be you knew you were going into a place that might have secondhand smoke. This is something that none of us can see. We don't understand. They're finding new complications all the time. I don't want to leave. You elect leaders to take information. You rely on them to take all this good information from people that are responsible, they're educated, they're experts in their field, right? Dr. Acton is an amazing human. She knows so much about this.
Yes.
And it's incredible that we're going to completely derail all of the great things that she's done to keep our rates of COVID-19 infection in Ohio to a minimum. And we're going to throw it out because 50 armed with weapons to the teeth people showed up at the State House and they demand that we do this now. And so we're going to listen to them. When in reality, Governor DeWine was elected by literally thousands-fold more people who are probably more reasonable and sitting at home like, well, I really don't want to get sick with coronavirus.
And the guy's got like a 75% approval rating on this topic, and he's done an amazing job. And that's coming from someone that's not a Republican. He's done an amazing job. He's listened to the science, and it's crazy that has to be rewarded in this day and age. That's just normal. That in the past, that's just normal, and in this day and age, that has to be rewarded. Quickly, go ahead, Colleen.
It passed.
All right, Gina, go ahead.
So I want to address something in the comments real quick. Somebody said the government, just because the government says you can go places doesn't mean you have to. But here's the problem with that, because I think that's a pretty common thing that people are saying. Just stay home. If you don't like it, just stay home. So a friend of mine, she's 55. She does hair. She has to go back to work. It's not optional for her. They are not taking, there's hardly any safety precautions to protect her. She is at the age where she is vulnerable. She has retirement and health insurance and everything. If she doesn't go back to work, she loses all of that. She loses her livelihood and her retirement. So it's not as simple as just stay home if you don't like it. I'm really tired of hearing that. It's not that simple.
That's the other problem too, Nick. We were promised this bed of roses when this whole thing started, and as the push to open, it's all number one. There's tons of promises that never got followed through with. People have been held in the lurch, and now it is. I mean, if you don't go to work, they're telling they're going to report you, and you're going to have to lose your job. And so there wasn't any of the protections that they told us about have even come true. Because I said if they would have handled that, if people were getting a paycheck, they wouldn't mind sitting at home, but they're stressing out because the government has let them down, told them to stay home for 2 months, but hasn't taken care of them. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, these protections that you speak of are okay. You don't have to pay your rent for 3 months, but the moment the 3 months is up, you got to pay, right?
Yeah,
I mean, these aren't protections at all by any means. You look at what other countries are doing. Most of Europe, Canada, these places, they're literally paying. They're giving people stimulus money to pay their bills. We got $1,200. That's great for me in Toledo, but if I lived in San Francisco, that's like 1/3 of my rent. Yeah. So it's wild to me to think that we're going to allow these so-called protections. That's why I'm working on what can we do for renters in the city of Toledo? How do we help out the landlords that are renting these places to these renters? How do we work on what debt people are amounting because they can't pay their water bills right now? These are real concerns, because when we think about how our economy is going to rebound after all of this, we've got to figure out some method to get rid of all of these things when people don't have an ability to work. And Gina, your point about people having to go back and what that means, right? Like, I'm really fortunate. Council allows me to work. I technically only have to show up to something 4 times in a month ever, and it's like a 2-hour period, and I would still get paid. I end up working much more, but I'm also working. I'm also working with United Way at the moment to coordinate all of the feeding programs that exist for our seniors and for kids. And I show up every day. And I go, and all I get to do when I go to these distribution sites where we're passing out food is hear the stories about how people even get there. They're taking the bus. The fast food workers are not essential. And yet we're still treating the lowest wage earners of our society as if they're essential and not providing them the protections and the things that are necessary.
I'm sorry, but if I don't get my beef and cheddar, I get angry. That's essential to me.
Go ahead, Danny.
Nick, I mean, you said Dr. Amy Acton is so smart, but tell me, is she actually smarter than this guy that made the YouTube video in his mom's basement? Because I mean, I
don't know what to believe right now. I'm so confused.
This guy, he's really convincing, and he's trying to tell me that Dr. Amy Acton is like she's coming for my rights, and she's going to try to lock me up in my house forever.
Crazy, man. Go ahead.
She works
Holly.
for Verizon, and she's going to put in a 5G cell phone in your backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Holly.
So for everybody that has to go back to work and they're putting all these safety precautions in, how long are these going to last? Because for my wife, for example, she can't get people to wear their safety glasses to protect their eyes. Like, look, I don't care if you lose your eye. Like, that's not on me. You don't want to wear the safety glasses. That's on you. But you not wearing that mask can affect me.
Yeah.
It's true. Sugar, go ahead.
Nick, I actually have a semi-serious question. What percentage do you think of this whole open up movement, what percentage do you think was planned by the lizard people?
It's got to be some percent, because you can't tell me there's 0%.
Yeah, I need to know the percent.
Sugar's focused on
probably
lizard people.
666%.
Oh my God!
How ironic. Jake, go ahead.
So we were talking there about, getting like rent and everything delayed for 3 months. About a month ago, I deferred my car payment until June, and then they never gave me credit for it. So I kept getting calls the other day, and the woman finally comes through and she goes, yeah, well, they just whoever you talked to didn't apply it to your account. And since you're over 45 days past due, you got dinged on your credit for it.
Oh my God.
And I was super pissed off about that. I was like, look, man, that's not my fault. This is on you guys. I go, so how do I dispute this thing? She goes, oh, you just have to fax me your dispute form. I go, fax you? Like, I'm locked in at my house. I don't have access to a fax machine, and two, it's not 1999.
Exactly. Tifel, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Gina mentioned earlier about the people that are like, well, if you don't want to leave your house, don't leave your house. Those are the same people that get worked up because they didn't like the Super Bowl halftime show. If you don't like it, don't watch it, and they don't accept that argument. But
Brown women shaking their hips.
Yeah, you don't get to use the argument you don't accept whenever you complain about think of the children because you saw some woman's ass gyrating on the halftime show.
Karens, all of them Karens.
Karens.
You can't use the same argument you've already rejected.
Go ahead, Nick. You were gonna say something.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. All right, well, real quick, how do you think? Before we let you go, real quick, how many? What kind of marks do you think you're giving the mayor? How's the mayor of Toledo handle things?
I'm aware of a lot of tough decisions that are having to be made, because the reality is the majority of our budget goes to personnel costs, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about police and firefighters. And so when we talk about our budget shrinking by a huge amount, we're talking about having to let go police and firefighters. And what happens in a pandemic if there are no rescue squads or people that can work, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that he's being pretty strategic about where the cuts are coming from, what we're looking at. And I think it's also interesting because I still hear him talking about what future projects we can have when we think about rolling this out. When this pandemic is projected to end in like a year and a half, if they come up with a vaccine, if you base it on the 18-month situation, we're talking about having the largest golf, I don't know, sports stuff doesn't really apply to me.
Okay.
If we're talking about sports, and golf definitely doesn't apply to me. But we're talking about having one of the largest golf tournaments in the world happen right here in Toledo. And we've already spent millions of dollars to fix up downtown to make it look nice when this lovely golf tournament comes. And now everybody's like, wait, we shouldn't spend any money at all. We got to stop thinking about any projects. And so I appreciate him thinking about like, well, what are the creative ways that we can still do this? How do we get involved and get it done? Because we as Toledoans have already invested millions of dollars into these projects, and we need to keep them going. So I think Mayor's doing a good job, and I don't have any complaints about him or the very apt and appropriate and skilled people that work for the city.
Yeah, and he let me see a shower the other day. I got to see the famous Golden Cardi $99.99 shower that Cardi spent, because you can only spend 10 grand. You had to get approval, so he charged $9,999. And I'm like, you know what, Mayor, I want to see that. I want to see that shower. He took me. I went in by myself. He didn't take me in there. I mean, that's a
and the truth comes out.
I like how Andrew casually name drops people.
And being in the shower with said person at that.
All right, I gotta go because I gotta call Ginger Z from Good Morning America here in a couple minutes. So,
name drop.
Hey, we got a conference call with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Hey, Nick, thank you so much, man, for taking time to talk to us. You were a lot of fun. And
Thanks,
appreciate
Nick.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'll come back anytime. Me and my
Send you a T-shirt.
It is Nick Comives, who dated Jake Dickey's sister, which is funny.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, final thoughts, Danny, real quick.
If anyone needs a pick me up after all this, I mean, everything's been sad and stuff like that. John Krasinski has been doing this thing online called SGN. It's called Some Good News, and he does it once a week, and he highlights just these beautiful, amazing stories, awesome videos, heartwarming things. And he put one out today, and it was there was a little mini Office reunion. They reenacted the whole thing for this couple that that reenacted the Jim and Pam proposal.
Their couple name is Jip.
But it was fantastic. It's all good stories to try to make you feel better. It'll make you choke up. So if you want to pick me up, if you want to smile a little bit, check that out. It's called SGN. Some Good News.
That's amazing, and I would let him choke me up.
Sports the show brought to you in part by Twice But Nice Resale Shop. We buy and sell baby equipment, toys, books, outerwear, clothes, formula, diapers, so much more to fit your family's needs. They have clothing for boys and girls 0 to 16. They also have a Planet Fashion section for teens and adults. DMX Lawn and Landscape. What?
Y'all gonna make me mow your lawn. Open hill.
Extreme Class Limousines. Our friend Guy does limousines. He also does work if you need to get some errands done. He's a grocery guy as well. He gets your groceries for you. And Gloss and Glam, your lip sense distributor that Colleen uses, and RCI Interior Designs. All right, quick before we go, Gina, go.
I just want to say that there are a lot of people struggling. I know we're going back to work, but not everybody's there yet. So if you are struggling, if you need food, if you need resources, if you don't know where to go, if you don't know what to do, inbox the Andrew Z in the Morning page. It will be kept confidential. Holly and I both answer those messages. We both know a lot of resources to help you. If we can't get it for you, we will find somebody that can get it for you. If you can't pay your bills, if you don't have food, please let us know. There are people that will help you. You are not in this alone.
Gina, I might be calling you guys because I just want everybody to know real quick. I lost my job at HP 9 o'clock this morning. And I'll tell you, I've been quiet during the whole show, and I've been kind of in shock ever since the whole damn thing happened, man. I'm telling you.
We got you, man. That's sad. Let us know if you need something. We got you.
I guess
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
The big question, Wolfman, you've known about it for 13 hours. How are you still sober?
Right. I was just thinking that. I'm like, I would be passed out.
He can't afford booze anymore.
Well, yeah, I got some moonshine in my kitchen there. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I could drink that. I can get some Pepsi and have a little rum and Coke. But in times like these, you know what? You don't need alcohol. Okay. I proved that to myself ever since this pandemic started, because I used to go to Twin Peaks about 2 or 3 times a week and maybe drink 4 or 5 rum and Coke a day. And that was like $200 on my damn paycheck. And you know what? I enjoyed myself. Don't get me wrong, but since I'm not drinking, I feel a whole hell of a lot better, man. I'm telling you.
Well, good. All right.
I mean, a visit to Twin Peaks always makes me feel better.
For sure. You know what? We talked about Twin Peaks a couple times here before, and you know what? They're a great bunch of people, and the waitresses are hurting just as much as now I'm hurting. Yeah. And it's just as much as everybody else. And I'll tell you something.
Yeah, they can't afford their
when
penicillin.
You say that
they can't afford pants.
Yeah, I gotta say hi to Cinnamon over at Twin Peaks.
All right, Jake, that $1 million bacon is amazing.
Jake,
and
that bacon is amazing. I love it.
Jake, go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to our very own Sugar Vermont for getting through a segment where we had a guest that she did not hit on.
Right?
Thank you. I I'm very high.
Right.
I thought she fell asleep.
I thought she fell asleep too. All right, for Chris Tiefel, Holly Rupert, Denny Crum, Stephen Wolf, Jake Dickey, Colleen Z. Well, she bailed out early today. Southside Gina, Sugar Vermont.
She clocks out at 9:59.
I know. Andrew Z. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye. Adios.
God bless everybody.
Yeah.